Greetings from beautiful San Nicolas, Philippines. Welcome to the Master versus the Mirage. Today we're breaking down the financials of Tesla, Elon Musk's game-changing empire, against Trump Media and Technology Group Corporation, the flashy upstart. Spoiler, one's a visionary powerhouse, the other's chasing shadows. Let's dive into the numbers and see why Musk's moves are miles ahead. I was wanting to make a video for a couple friends of mine, particularly Ronnie, a childhood friend all the way up through adulthood. And the problem is when I make a video and I want to text it, it has to be 1:30 or 90 seconds or less. So I went ahead and decided I'll just make one and put it on YouTube and then send it to them. Anyway, today's topic is the Master versus the Mirage, all right? And I'm just going to get right into it. What we're looking at is some of the fundamentals on the stock of Tesla. And I want to point out, particularly to Ronnie, he asks me all the time, at least for the past 4 or 5 months, I should be buying Tesla. Why don't you buy Tesla? And he has a good point. I want you to look up a term called meme stock. Now, Tesla isn't a full-blown meme stock because it is profitable, right? But meme stocks tend to get overvalued, overbought, more on hype and stuff. Look at GameStop, AMC, stuff like that. However, I did, and I'll show you here in a minute, I did just buy some recently on the, when there was a real life battle between the Master and the Mirage. And just a little bit, a little starter position. But I wanted to point out to Ronnie real quick, that PE right there, that's called price to earnings ratio. And it says right there 179.51, and that makes it that's an indicator that'll tell you that that's an expensive stock to buy, right? Forward price to earnings ratio 110. It'll still be expensive in a year from now. That's what it's telling you, but it's Tesla. So anyway, I'm going to scroll down here on the Master's stock, and who has never ever had a company go bankrupt, by the way. Now we're going to go in here. Now these numbers are in millions. So total revenue in 2024 was $97,690,000,000. You got your operating income. Let's go down to net income. Net income. $7,130,000,000. All right, let's go take a look at the stock real quick. Now, as a member of the CNBC Investing Club, I do that to get coaching, and it's very well worth it. That is a 60-minute chart, and that's how I usually just leave it. You can see where I bought some right down here, just a couple shares to start. If it would have dropped a little more, I would have doubled down after about a 10% drop. Anyway, let's just go to its weekly chart, and let's see how far back that takes us. One little point, Ronnie, you can look at when you see on my charts, when you see blue and you see red higher, that's a good sign. That's good. That means that the blues are buys and the reds are sells. So I may have been short-term trading it or something, but and I don't do that a lot. But this is a weekly chart. It goes back all the way to the middle of 2020. Okay, so like I said, blue, red, good, making money. But anyway, I just want to point out what I do want to point out. Let me get this line down here. Back in the middle of 2020. Tesla's stock price was at $50. Now it's 600% increase. In, 2020, we're in the middle of 2025 in 5 years. So it's averaging 120% a year. That's great. Not that I think it's a great stock to own or nothing. You don't want to buy it up there and then be like down here and be all stressed out. Anyway, so 600% over 5 years. Now we're going to go we're going to leave the master and we're going to go to the Mirage. Let me go to that page real quick, and that's going to be right here. This company here is Trump Media and Technology Group Corporation, right? Now, that name Trump, he has went bankrupt at least 6 times. There's a new book coming out that's already out digitally that can show you everything. It gets past all the hype and nonsense, and it details all of these bankruptcies. Anyway, let's go to, okay. You notice that PE ratio is blank. Forward PE ratio is blank, right? You see the income's at a minus. Well, that's because that's a company that is not profitable, okay? And that's just when I'm looking real quick at something, wondering what kind of financials they have. This is the website that I go to, FinViz, and when you see right there, okay, they're not profitable. Okay, we got a little action going on there. Let's go down and look at 2024. And let's see how much money they earned or made. Well, here is your answer. Net, and they didn't have to pay taxes. When you don't make money, you don't pay taxes, all right? Net income before taxes, they lost 100 million. Oh wait, that was trailing 12 months. That's in the last 12 months. In 2024, they took a loss of $400 million, and looks like 860,000. So $400 million loss on Team Mirage. Let's go ahead and look at their stock, and I like to talk about that one because you might see some red and some blue on that one, but it's going to be a little bit different. Where are we? There it is right here. Let's do we'll probably be able to, they didn't go public. Okay, they was listed underneath a Special Purpose Acquisition Corporation, or SPAC, prior to going individually public in, I believe, like March or January of 2024. Let me push pause. Okay, while I was doing all that stuff down here, my screen had went out. So let me go ahead and go to a daily chart. I was on a weekly with Tesla. So now that we're on a daily, let's see if we can go back to, I think we can without, okay, this is back before they were, like I said, over here. This is 2024, January right there. All right, then we get into 2023 and low volume, right? Down here is the volume bars. This tells the story of when it's getting hyped or a whole lot of buying or a whole lot of selling. You know, I don't see not all the time, when the computer's acting up or the platform's acting up, and that it'll show my buys and sales, but I have short sold this stock at least 4 or 5 times, and more of it out of fun, just because you can see when people are getting overhyped about something. So anyway, right in here is when it went public. Now I will say that even before that period, I had known some people, close people, that were hyped up about it, thinking, ooh, this might be a good investment. And they were just misled. They were just flat out wrong, okay? So it spiked way up right here. And again, remember, we're talking about an unprofitable company that does not show a way to become profitable, okay? Truth Social is their main source of income, and it's extremely unprofitable. It's hard, they can't hardly get advertisers. Anyway, so it shot way up there. It reached about $50, right? And then it had a point where it even popped way back up, and you see how hard that it sold off. Again, these are daily candlesticks, okay? Election, let's see, here is October, and then November. So election, boom, hyped it up, almost touched $55, and now we're right here at $20.52. So if someone would have bought it anywhere up above, especially up here, you don't wait to buy when you see, oh wow, that thing's really, really, really going up. Well, a lot of smart people are going to take profits. And anyway, so that's we have not gotten 600% growth over 5 years, or we're not getting growth at all. So anyway, we've already looked at the financial numbers, and that ought to tell you a little bit of the story. And then the final thing that I will show you, and I'm working on the audio book. I'm on chapter 3. It's available on Amazon for a ebook. Everything in this book is fact-checked, 100% proof. You don't want to go writing a book and telling people somebody is very fraudulent and not have legal backing. So we did that too. Went through to make sure we're crystal clean on every accusation that we leveled, and they're already out there, from the $1 million loan and build an empire, which the guy used to said, to the fact that he inherited $420 million, ballpark figure, just everything. But anyway, Mirage is genius, from fake billionaire to post-truth president, now available on Amazon. If you're in love with someone, it's going to be a hard book to read, right? But it's better to know the facts and the truth than I guess not knowing. Anyway, I think that's it. And again, the Mirage, or the Master, a whole bunch of net income, 7.17 billion, 130 million, and the Mirage, a loss of 400 million.